Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of BBP News. I'm Nicholas Rod. Chris Baker's here with me, and we are back for another Friday morning episode. Chris, start us off, as we always do, with the weather.
In Los Angeles, California, it is sunny 81 with a partly cloudy weekend. In Houston, Texas, it is sunny 79 with a sunny weekend. And in Chicago, it is raining 57 with more rain throughout the weekend. And in New York City, it is raining 60 and raining again throughout the weekend. It's that time of the year.
Too much rain. You know, there's something about rain in, like, when it starts getting colder that's so dreary. Like, I love rain in the summer. Like, when it rains in the summer, it can be really nice. Then we get to this point of the year, and it rains. And I don't know. It just seems sad.
Poor Nick. That's all I'm going to say is, poor Nick, he's sad about the weather. I mean, it seems like Nick's always sad about either the weather or school or the weather again.
Speaking of school, I survived. If any of you remembers from Monday, I had a very interesting adventure with the essay assignment that I spoke of in that intro, and I made it through. You know, I was very apprehensive about the whole thing back on Monday, but I did it, and I'm proud.
Good job, Nick. You did the thing you're supposed to do.
Are you not proud of me?
No.
Okay. I didn't expect anything less on that.
Good.
But you know, it's been a relatively quiet week, wouldn't you say, Chris?
Oh yeah, super quiet week, Nick. No complaints on my end. Just been so holly jolly happy.
Holly jolly happy. Oh God. Now, I mean, you know, we're at that point where it's mid-fall, and actually this weekend is Halloween, which is something I have to keep, like, keep getting reminded of that and keep forgetting about it, because Halloween just isn't one of those things I really pay attention to anymore. But it's already Halloween time.
You know how I'm celebrating? Buying a bag of candy the next day that's on sale.
That's always the best way to do it at this point. Like, there's no point, in my opinion, unless you're going to be, like, giving it out to people on Halloween. Just buy all your candy after the holiday, because it's like you said, it's on sale, like 50% sometimes, or sometimes even more. I've seen it on sale for, I don't know, I think the highest I ever saw was 75%.
Give it to November 2nd at Hannaford or a local grocery store here in town. You can buy bags of candy for 50 cents.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. I do have to ask, though, the all-important Halloween controversial question. Are you for or against candy corn?
See, I'm the person that's like, I'll eat it if it's there because that's just who I am. I eat everything that's in front of me. Now, would
Sure.
I specifically pick it out? Probably not.
Right, right. And that is one opinion that I see a lot, but, you know, most often you see this huge debate of people either hating or loving candy corn. I gotta say, I love candy corn. I don't know why. Like, there are definitely
I like the
more
little pumpkin.
unique or... Oh, the pumpkins are amazing. The pumpkins are just... I could eat way too many of those all at once. But, like, they're not even the most unique candy or the most unique flavor. But I don't know. There's something about it that's so good and fits with the time so well. And I don't know. It's nice.
Well, now that your opinion about candy corn is out there for everyone to either love or hate you, we got some news to get into.
We do. So, for this morning, to start off, we just want to go over some of the most popular questions surrounding the entire COVID-19 pandemic right now. And the first question is, if your employer requires the COVID-19 vaccine and you refuse and get fired, can you get unemployment benefits? Well, if you were fired from your job for refusing the COVID-19 vaccine as a term of your employment, generally the answer is no, you cannot. But every state is different on this. However, there are some loopholes. Workers typically qualify for unemployment benefits if they are terminated through no fault of their own. But experts say they forfeit their unemployment benefits if they either leave a position on their own or if they are terminated for causes such as they fail to comply with a company policy like a vaccine mandate. Again, every state handles this differently with the vaccine mandate and how to handle termination as a result of noncompliance. Fired employees can challenge unemployment denials in some states, but not all, on a few conditions. If your employer does not have a formal COVID-19 vaccine policy, or if your employer denies religious or medical exemptions because it cannot be reasonably accommodated, and state unemployment offices find that you have a valid excuse. Now, that might not work all the time because your employers can legally deny your exemption. Moral of the story is every state operates on a case-by-case status on their unemployment benefits.
The second question is, whatever happened to companies with more than 100 employees having the requirement of either getting the vaccine or rigorous testing? Well, it is up to the Labor Department and OSHA to come up with the actual rules, and then they need to distribute those rules to the state. Since the Department of Labor has been meeting with lobbyists in more than 40 labor unions and other interested parties, there has been no official timeline given for when OSHA and Department of Labor rules must be made public, but some private companies have already implemented their own vaccine mandates ahead of the Labor Department rules. As long as it does not violate a state rule, it is all right to do so. And just to add on top of that, the Supreme Court has repeatedly upheld vaccine mandates since the early 1920s and even 3 times this year alone.
Sticking with the topic of the vaccine, Tuesday, the FDA Independent Advisory Panel said that 5 to 11-year-olds can now get vaccinated against COVID-19 using the Pfizer vaccine. The panel unanimously said that Pfizer can have emergency use authorization in order for 28 million children to get vaccinated against the virus. In trial testing of 7,000 children, the most common side effects were injection site pain, fatigue, headache, muscle pain, and chills.
All these side effects are considered mild or moderate in pain. Now these recommendations go to the FDA for approval or denial. If approved, it then goes to the CDC. It is estimated shots can start being administered to children as early as next month.
The bipartisan infrastructure bill was supposed to come to the floor this week, but House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said this bill will not go to the floor without the human infrastructure bill. But what is actually in this bill, and what about this new mileage tax? This bill is not the human infrastructure bill that people say would expand the social safety net. This is the bill that passed the Senate back in August. The vote for that was 69 to 31, with 19 Republicans voting yes, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Ever since then, it was held up in the House.
So what is actually in it? The bill itself is more than 2,700 pages long and total price tag of $1.2 trillion, including $550 billion in new federal spending over the next 5 years. These funds all have all sorts of funding across the country, like $110 billion for roads and bridges, $75 billion to rebuild the power grid, $65 billion for high-speed internet and broadband, $66 billion for passenger and freight rail, $55 billion to clean up the national water preserve and remove lead pipes, $39 billion to improve public transit, $25 billion to make improvements to airports, and $7.5 billion to build electric vehicle infrastructure and charging stations. These are all just to name a few. And for all of you worried about that mileage tax, this is just a pilot program, not a tax. If you read the bill, you would know that. Not to mention you need to sign up for it if you want to participate in it. Since it is a study, you would be reimbursed the total amount that you paid into this pilot program. There is not a dollar amount in the bill you would be charged per mile. It is a study to look at ideas how to keep the Highway Trust Fund funded for years to come.
Now, the Biden administration has blocked more of former President Trump's attempts to claim executive privilege. In a letter to the National Archives, the White House counsel said President Biden determined Trump's efforts to keep a batch of records out of Congress's hands, quote, is not in the best interest of the United States, end quote. The counsel is directing the archives to hand over the Trump-era documents to the House Select Committee investigating the insurrection. This comes after Trump filed a lawsuit against the archives last week, seeking to block the committee from obtaining those documents. A federal judge will hear the case next week over the records.
We are less than a month away from Thanksgiving, and there are some things you may want to know before going into the holiday season. Last year, turkey prices are at their lowest since 2010. Experts say that is due to people not having big meals as they were still social distancing. This year, it is expected to be the opposite. Experts say you will be paying for your dinner even more than you have in years past. According to the Consumer Price Index, food prices in general are up almost 5%. Prices for meat, poultry, fish, and eggs soared to 10.5% higher. Turkeys already cost 25 cents more per pound for a 16 to 20 pound turkey than the year previous. Anything you buy in aluminum can, like pumpkin, is up 90% due to aluminum costs skyrocketing. Food isn't the only price increase this holiday season. Flights are also on the increase. Experts say there are some things you can do to try to save money. Fly on off days. They say fly in a day or two before Thanksgiving and fly out a day or two after. Use mileage points that you may have accrued over the years on credit cards, and shop around online for cheaper prices out for the name brands like United, Delta, and Southwest. Consider using alternative airports instead of flying into one of the bigger ones. Thanksgiving is being said to be the most expensive holiday of the year, according to experts.
Now moving into some rapid news, Hertz is set to buy 100,000 Tesla cars in a push to offer electric vehicles.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says he wants to give $5,000 bonuses to unvaccinated police officers who relocate to Florida. Nick, Friday morning good news, what do you got?
All right, so we know about the wildfires that have taken place in California for a number of years now, and there was one city that honestly was mostly wiped out because of the fires. This is a city known as Paradise, and their residents, after the fires had died down, went from 30,000 to 2,000. And Paradise is a place that is well known for their high school football team. They had been known for winning a lot of league titles and a lot of championships before the fires, took everything. But one place that was left untouched by the fires, amazingly enough, was their football field. And the coach of the football team called everyone who was still, living in the town together to discuss what to do next. And they all agreed that they were going to continue playing football, even if there was only 12 of them at the time. Well, this story reached the ears of the San Francisco 49ers, who invited the team to one of their home games. After that, a rebuild began of Paradise, and at this point, there have been, many homes rebuilt. There's still a lot to go, but they've made massive efforts. But beyond that, Paradise is back to playing football, and they did it in style. So when they took the field for the first time, they were taking the field to 5,000 fans. They were just absolutely packed in. Everyone was emotional. It was said that after the game, which Paradise ended up winning, everyone was crying, everyone was hugging, everyone was just celebrating the fact that they could come back and enjoy this time and enjoy some football. And what's even greater beyond that, two different things, is that they're now 5-1 on the season and are looking to head into the playoffs. And also, they were invited once again by the 49ers to another home game where they were honored with their own special jerseys.
That's an excellent news story, Nick. Tragedy has been hitting that area repeatedly just from the forest fires, and then they get the old team back together, theoretically gets the old team back together and got to play on the 49ers, a crowd of 5,000 people, and then they get to do it all over again. That's just an excellent, good news story.
No, but, my favorite part about all of that is honestly the 5,000 person crowd. When you can get a community together like that for, a high school football game, and, you have 5,000 people watching that game, 5,000 people all gathered together to watch it, and they won too, which was even better. It just kind of capped off the entire comeback. It capped off the entire, emotional return, and it's just honestly beautiful to see.
I agree 100% with what you're saying, Nick. That is the end of this Friday morning news episode. Make sure you come back Monday morning for all the latest over the weekend news to start you off your week. Follow us on BBP News for the 24-hour breaking news so you're always in the know. Check out our personal accounts to see what we're up to. But until Monday morning, have a great weekend, everybody.